Hey guys, Drifter here. Today I want to talk about all the madness that's going on Wall Street, Wallstreetbets, Gamestop, AMC, Dogecoin going up to the moon, and all of the investment chaos that you have inevitably seen all over YouTube and your timeline. I do want to say in the beginning that this is not financial advice. I'm not trying to tell you to buy or not buy anything, and there will be a million experts on Twitter and TikTok and YouTube telling you to buy this and do that, and then you'll totally be rich tomorrow. They have no idea what they're talking about. Nobody knows what's going on, really. It's like the Wild West out there. So invest only what you can afford to lose is my best advice to you. It's been crazy out there. What started off as a unique market strategy has evolved into class warfare and a full-on market rebellion that is far more impactful than Occupy Wall Street. That second topic is going to be the most fun to talk about today, but first, let's talk about where it started and what's actually happening. So I want to first start off with where this whole madness started. A Redditor on Wallstreetbets wanted to enact a short squeeze against GameStop. GameStop as a company is kind of dying and its stock is kind of always trending down, but they noticed that some hedge funds had shorted this stock. For those of you that don't do trading, there is a complicated thing that you can do where you can effectively bet on whether a stock goes up or down. And in the case of this, if you want to bet that a stock goes down in the future, that's a short. Where if you short a stock and that stock loses its value over time, you actually make more money. It's a whole complicated thing that involves borrowing some money and then paying it back at a later date and repurchasing shares at a fixed date. And that repurchase date is determining whether it went up or down. That's where you can really make or lose money depending on what you borrowed and blah, blah, blah. But the short version is if you short a stock goes down, you've made money. If you short a stock, the stock goes way up. You've lost money because you have to forcibly buy it back as per your contract. Well, some Redditors noticed that GameStop was over-shorted. As a matter of fact, the hedge funds had shorted more stock of GameStop than the stock exists. So that sounds crazy, but it's kind of like overbooking hotel rooms or overbooking airplane flights, and you have more people wanting seats than there are seats available. You can do the same thing with investments. I think the current cap is 140 or 150% of total value of the company. You can actually short and trade options on, even if all of that value doesn't exist. So this dude figured out with the Reddit hive mind, he could convince enough people to buy GameStop shares to drive the price up arbitrarily, even if the fundamentals of the company had nothing to indicate that it was worth that. And then the people in the hedge funds that shorted the stock would be forced to buy it back at those higher prices later, even further driving up the price. And if they wanted to get out and lose their money and take that L, that's fine. But since they're billionaire hedge funds, they wanted to get back in, short it again, and try and wait out the Redditors, except the Redditors put even more money in, so they were forced to buy it back again and effectively started liquidating hedge funds because hedge funds thought that they had more money than thousands of millions of people on Reddit or all of us regular poors trying to invest, and they could just kind of wait us out. So because of all this craziness, there was a lot of market irregularities. A lot of Redditors made out filthy, barren capitalist rich. A lot of hedge funds lost billions of dollars. And these are big hedge funds that manage for either for themselves or private clients, retired boomers, your parents, grandparents, etc., etc. So there definitely were losers in this engagement. And then Reddit figured, hey man, there are all these other businesses that are struggling too. Blockbuster has one store, AMC's dying because people aren't going to the theaters. And it just turned into a giant meme and kind of kept going. And people started to pump up stocks like Build-A-Bear Workshop, which is in malls. Malls are dying and physical stores are dying. And it's called BBW, so that's hilarious. So let's blow that up. And they tried to enact short squeezes on a variety of different stocks, effectively using Reddit as a crowdsourcing platform. What would normally happen in market manipulation like this is you would have somewhere between 1 and 3 gigantic hedge funds worth billions of dollars decide to engage in market rigging to their favor to make a lot of profit. But what happened this week is that thousands, probably really millions of average Joes, regular Redditors, totally normal people that don't even invest, sort of Reddit hive mind together to do exactly what the hedge funds are doing. And that is actually perfectly legal as far as I'm aware. I'm not a lawyer, but the powers that be do not like that because the powers that be are old money. They're old money investment firms. They're billionaires, politicians, millionaires, day traders. They are getting reamed. They are getting destroyed by random people on Reddit that are willing to bet their entire life savings on terrible gambles, and also people that have decided to turn this into class warfare because those powers that be colluded to halt trading. They worked, there's a venture capital, there's a hedge fund that owns Robinhood, the most famous trading app right now, and they run Robinhood devoid of fees on your trades so that they can harvest your user data for marketing purposes for their hedge fund. But what they decided to do is just stop trading on everybody's shares of GameStop and other things like that. So me and you and other people couldn't continue to buy stock, yet their hedge fund and their hedge fund buddies could continue to short it. So all of Reddit was locked out while the old money people got to keep making money. That made Reddit mad. That didn't win them the game. That attracted 10 times more attention to this issue and got more people investing in to try and screw the hedge fund guys even more. But interestingly, other billionaires got in on this. So Elon Musk got in on this, Mark Cuban got in on this because some of their companies very early on were targets of shorts and short squeezes. There were hedge funds that wanted to short their companies and kill them basically for a profit. So they have a bone to pick. They started supporting Reddit and putting money into this just to say F you to that particular type of trading, and maybe to also encourage new regulations that cap the amount of stocks that you can short to the amount that actually exists instead of going over into the theoretical territory. That only added fuel to the fire and people kept going. The SEC is getting curious. The White House is getting curious. Joe Biden is actually having to pay attention to this because of people on Reddit. GameStop is soaring. The trade volume is so high, people can't even sign up on Robinhood and Webull and Fidelity and all these trading apps. Things that used to take 5 minutes are now like 5-day waiting periods because all of America, or if not the rest of the world, is getting in on this action. We finally decided that we can invest from home, and a part of this is a legitimate sort of protest. And that's one of the reasons that I jumped in on this, is that I can spend some of my money to give the middle finger to investment brokers and hedge funds and just old money Wall Street people that I personally feel should be punished. So I'm a little bit older than a lot of you watching this video. I was in college during 2008 during the financial market crash at the very end of the Bush administration and the beginning of the Obama administration. That destroyed my graduation plans. Probably for the better, I wouldn't be doing YouTube, but I had to delay graduation because there were no jobs. I had an engineering degree and there were no jobs. My wife had a nursing degree, basically no jobs. Hospitals had to cut back. My dad and my grandparents' retirement got all screwed up because their investments went to pot. People lost literally everything. Home values plummeted. And what did the government do? The government bailed out the companies that caused this madness, and not one single person that was responsible for this financial crash was ever punished. If anything, maybe they lost some money here and there, but a lot of their companies got government bailouts. So basically, all of America got screwed, but the investment companies that caused the screwing to happen, or stole the money, or I don't know what in the world, that's a whole totally different complicated thing for a different day, got away scot-free. And then you see movements like Occupy Wall Street, which the rich people found funny. That's like college kids, stoners, and totally woke socialists out there with pink hair just standing around protesting. You know, the Wall Street investors are sitting up there in the balconies taking pictures of them, having a bit of fun, and it accomplished a fat lot of nothing. What's different about this is that now Reddit, regular Americans, and whatever you want, the memers out there, are playing the Wall Street game by their own rules. We are playing by the rules of capitalism to stick it to rich people as hard as humanly possible. And they're mad. They're trying to lock down the market. They're trying to restrict trades. Some freaking clown guy dressed as an actual cow goes on CNBC and says that we should ban talking about stocks on social media. Don't worry about free speech. We got to make this money. Billionaires are making videos yelling about things or crying. And that's only adding even more fuel to the fire. But the scary thing is that there's a real chance that this might get it's already being regulated in a sense. Shares are being halted, trading is being stopped. There's a lot of stuff going on that you wouldn't do for a big business. If a giant mega corporation or hedge fund was doing exactly what Reddit was doing, it would be business as usual. But when the poor start doing it, we start clamping down the market as hard as possible, putting restrictions on there, protecting the money. And of all craziness that I just never would have expected, AOC jumped on this and complained about it. And I know that many of you have many colorful opinions about her, but she sits on the House, I believe it's Finance Committee, so she actually may have the power to make these people testify before Congress. Then Ted Cruz jumps in and says he agrees with AOC. What? And Donald Trump Jr. says he agrees with Ted Cruz and AOC. These are three people that do not get along with each other. Republicans, Democrats, left, right, Trumpers, socialists, everybody agrees that something is screwed up here, because what Reddit is doing is free market capitalism. As a matter of fact, it is more free market capitalism than what we usually see in this country, because one of those assumptions you'll make in your college economics classes is that you need to have thousands or millions of individual actors acting in their own best self-interest. interest, and the more people you have participating in the market, the more robust and accurate it is. Well, now the people that have all the money don't want all these pores in their market making basically ridiculous decisions. But the decisions aren't even really ridiculous. It is in their best interest. I talked to a subscriber today who made $14,000 and immediately used it to pay off his college. I talked to another subscriber that made $4,000 and says, got my own stimulus check. I must have talked to 20, 30 content creators that have made money and said, finally, I got my stimulus check. This is America getting their stimulus checks the hard way, by force, with actual free market capitalism. And now a lot of people want to shut down the free market. I'm recording this at about midnight on Thursday, and I'll probably upload it when I wake up around noon on Friday. Yes, I run a very healthy sleep schedule. What I'm expecting is that by the time I upload this video, some of the information probably is going to be outdated. There will have been 3 other crazy developments because overnight, even more people are going to get approved for these trading apps, and they're going to start throwing money on this. They just love to watch the world burn or steal from the rich or whatever. It's only going to get crazier. And I'm going to end this talking about Dogecoin, which is the only thing that I made money in, because all of my other trades got restricted. Everything I tried to do on Robinhood and Webull today got shut down. Gamestop, AMC, I was not allowed to trade anything. I had all my shares canceled. Some people had their shares sold for them, and it got so screwy that there's now a class action lawsuit against the trading apps themselves and other media companies and trading companies, but that's not the point. The point is that Redditors and investors, regular people, have also just kind of decided that cryptocurrency is the way to go. And since Bitcoin's a little bit expensive, let's blow up Dogecoin. Let's send it to the moon just for jokes. So I invested some money in Dogecoin. I'm up like 500% so far today, which is just awesome. Very happy about that. And they have decided to throw money at Dogecoin, which has no inherent real world value. Most cryptocurrency really doesn't, just to blow it up to see how high it can go, because it's the only investment that is currently not being screwed with by the SEC or restricted by apps. They'll stop trading on GameStop and they'll stop trading on Naked Juice and stuff and Nokia, but they don't really care what happens with Dogecoin. So we're trying to make money on Dogecoin today. It's going great for me. It's wild. Hopefully I've explained something useful. Hopefully you've learned something from this video. This is me, sleep deprived, super excited, had a fun day, enjoyed these memes, made some money, riding the wave, trying to be a little bit educational here on a COD channel of all things. And I just hope that you enjoyed this video and you learned something. And if you do buy any assets, do it with caution and buy Doge. If you enjoyed, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out.